The last great coliseum. Race 3 of the Grand National Series brings us to the shortest track on the schedule, at least for the time being, the half-mile circuit in Bristol, Tennessee. This is the Bristol Motor Speedway, and this is Saturday Night Thunder. Great to have you all back live on FTN. As we said before, Bristol Motor Speedway, and it's going to be 150 laps of racing here from Thunder Valley in the well-titled Thunder Valley 150. Qualifying has just gotten underway, so you haven't missed a thing. The action will begin in just a few moments. Jordan Kuntz currently finds himself at the top of the board. Great to have you all watching live again on FTN. If you haven't tuned in previously, we had our broadcast of the Velocity Online Racing IORA Teen Series. This is our first stock car racing event of the night. I'm David Kreutz, producing and commentating all of tonight's action, and while the track is empty right now, in just a few minutes, you'll see over 20 drivers take to the circuit for our main event. As qualifying is on the move, we're finding out who lines up where. There's Vincent Guecci. He currently finds himself 8th in timing and scoring. So we're going to keep a watch on the last great Coliseum all night long. 150 laps, 75 miles, and 3 minutes until the race session begins. So Guecci is going to come down to pit road. Connor Asbell is currently 10th on the board. Alec Daffin is going to take to the track as well. And right now, Jordan Kuntz, who missed our race at Las Vegas, however, he won at Daytona, he's back at the top of the charts as Asbell goes for a wild ride and ends up absolutely destroyed. Connor James is going to be on pit road, and CJ Allman is going to take to the track. With the 97 back on the way, the returning drivers, a few drivers who are new, and we're going to take a look at one of them right now. Brayton Laster in the number 95 machine, brand new driver to this series, although you might recognize him from ARCA Menard Series competition. He's making his way to the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway today in the number 95. Brand new look, brand new paint scheme for Brayton Laster, and you'll see the number 95. Looks like he cut it out on one side, brought it to the other, and you can see he's got a much different look than most of these other drivers. So Brayton Laster of the ARCA Menard Series is going to be 10th on the board right now. Looks like his qualifying time is going to stack up just 2/10 slower than that of our pole sitter. Jordan Kuntz still has him beat, but Laster's going to take another lap around that all-pink 95 and bring it back down to the apron. Alec Daffin, he got 2 lap attempts in, couldn't get an official lap in, however, just couldn't work out for that 48. Matthew Weeks is back, and we've seen how quick he is. Going to bring a brand new look as well. It's a bright color set for Matthew Weeks, and you can see the JV Designs number 11 taking through the final corners at the line for Matthew Weeks. He's going to jump up to 3rd on the board. So Weeks goes 3rd, and that's going to move the rest of the field down. Kaloff down to 4th, Mac Grab down to 5th, and Connor James at the line is going to move Weeks down. So Connor James goes 3rd in his first lap, has one more lap to improve, so he's going to take that opportunity now. The Diet Coke number 13 machine going to come down to the line, and it's a silver bullet from 3rd. It looks like it's an improvement, but not enough to make a position up. Connor James is going to be 3rd fastest. Very impressive run. Brayton Laster is still going to drive for us here, so we'll ride on board with the number 95. And with Brayton Laster on the hood, Brayton Laster is going to be driving this machine. Currently 12th on the board in qualifying, 2/10 off of our fastest time. And you can see right now, he's currently holding it way up to the top down the straights, keeping it nice and smooth in the middle of the corner and powering through on the exit there. Laster's got a really interesting design going on. Hot pink grabs attention, and when it comes to attention, the Brayton Laster team, the operation for the ARCA Menard Series, they're going to be coming around to Daytona very soon, and there's a special offer back on the table. You could be on his ARCA Menard stock car for as low as $100, so be sure to check out Brayton Laster's Twitter and find out a bit more about that. There's definitely a lot to learn about that team. Of course, one of the more independent drivers doing his thing against some of the bigger franchises of stock car racing. Great to have him here tonight, and great to have the entire field as we are now set to our 5-minute warm-up session. Qualifying is over, and now it's time to find out what's going on as drivers make their final adjustments. But first, without further ado, we present the starting grid for tonight's event in Thunder Valley. It's the Thunder Valley 150, and at the top of the board, your 2-time defending champion and Daytona race winner, Jordan Kuntz. Kuntz takes to the top of the track with a 14.72 8, and he's going to be just ahead of Ryan Rose as the number 78 machine comes back from a mid-pack run in Las Vegas. He takes it up to the top of the charts outside of the front row with a 14.792. Then from there, it's going to be third place for Connor James in the number 13. James, one of those drivers we've not seen all too often. This is only his third career start. 14.81 for the driver of the 13 machine. And Matthew Weeks, a returning competitor from 2 seasons prior. He's back in action, hopefully full-time, as it's going to be Matthew Weeks, fourth. 14.834. Henry Kaloff rounds out the top 5 in the 63, whereas the number 53 of Matt Grab then runs in 6th. Jackson Van Pelt is going to be scored in 7th with a 14.883 after another breakout night in Sin City. It's Kenneth Garrell in 8th, Vincent Guecci in 9th, and to round out the top 10, Vinny Tigner's number 12 machine, it's going to be 14.923 for Vinny there in the number 12. Then from there, it's going to be James Jungerman on debut in 11th spot in the qualifying grid, 14.935 for James and his number 32 team as he lines up right beside Brayton Laster's hot pink 95. 14.948 for Brayton puts him inside the top dozen, just enough to go through. Chris Tripp is going to be 13th with a 50.009, and it's going to be then 16th spot right beside Michael Deitch. However, 13th for Tripp, CJ Allman's 14th, and with 15th Michael Deitch, it's Connor Asbell, then in 16th with a 15.248. Marshall Harris runs the final time in qualifying tonight with a 15.354, and it's going to be Alec Daffin who did not take a time in 18th, Carter Casey in 19th, and Patrick Gentner who rounds out the top 20 despite not taking a lap. In addition, 3 more drivers register, including James Bowden, Tyler Seaver, and finally Brendan Carroll in the number 10 machine to round out the 23-car grid here in the last great Coliseum. It's Bristol, baby, and the qualifying lineup has been set. Now, with that being said, we also have warm-up still going, so drivers that take into the track. You're looking right now at Connor James, who's on pit road. He's the fastest driver so far in the session, with 2 minutes still remaining to improve. Matt Grab finds himself 86 thousandths of a second slower, not too far off the mark as it stands, so still some room to improve there. Michael Deitch is going to be in 4th. Jordan Kuntz has actually scored right now in 2nd, and you might notice he's got a much different look. Coming back with Shaw Racing. The partnership seemed to be a 1-season deal, but it looks like after that victory at Daytona, he's back with Shaw, and the number 99, while no longer a multi-car operation here, is going to be the flagship driver for Shaw Racing this season. And after such a good start at Daytona, no reason to pass up on one of the fastest drivers this league has to offer. 2-time champion both seasons in 2023. He came home with that championship and the win at Daytona to kick off this season. So by and large, he's the best driver in this series and continues to be the man to watch out for night after night. Matt Grab is going to be in 3rd, and Michael Deitch is going to be in 4th. Kenneth Garrell rounds out the top 5 with James Jungerman then in 6th, and Vincent Guecci then in 8th. Few drivers notable who would not be in tonight's event. It looks like we are not going to see William Schmidt, who broke through for his first career podium last week in Las Vegas of SKS Racing. I know that it's Andrew Schulte in the chat room right now, Schmidt's biggest fan. However, it does not look like William Schmidt and the 79 team will be here tonight. In addition, right now, Vinny Tigner going to take to the track. And also, of note, I do not believe we're going to see Jacob Elkins here. We see Alec Daffin. However, Elkins, who most often runs well with that 48 machine, not with us tonight. So, few drivers who we've seen frequently not going to be here. Looks like Hurricane Esports has Patrick Gentner with us tonight. Shane Wielden does not appear to be in attendance. So, we do have a lot of our heavy hitters. And right now, top of the board, it's still Connor James in the number 13. Jordan Kuntz is going to be 2nd. It's going to be Carter Casey then in 3rd. Matt Grab 4th. And rounding out the top 5 in 2nd practice, it's Michael Deitch, James quickest, and he finds himself at the top of the charts ahead of your pole sitter Jordan Kuntz and Carter Casey. Now, with our practice out of the way, warm-up concluded, time to move on to your main event, 150 laps in the last great Coliseum. An empty track one final time tonight. Time for the grid to get, of course, in formation, and Jordan Kuntz is the man to lead them off. Now, Jordan Kuntz is no underdog in this field. However, when it comes to the championship race, he put himself into disadvantage by not being part of our most recent event in Las Vegas. For Shaw Racing, with the backing of one of the most successful teams in league history, Jordan Kuntz knows he has a chance to fight for this title, and after, of course, winning at Daytona, Vegas was an all-out frenzy, a wide-open frenzy to go for the points lead. Right now, that championship lead is held by Vinny Tigner. So Tigner, who lines up 10th on the board tonight, has the points lead that everyone's chasing. However, of course, Jordan Kuntz, one of the most, of course, competitive drivers, one of the most savvy drivers in terms of strategy, and given the fact we have 150 laps, it is just about a guarantee that we will be seeing ourselves green flag pit stops if we stay green as we've done for over 150 miles in succession. Las Vegas, no cautions. We stayed green all throughout, saw full-on strategy, and here at Bristol, we could see the same. We got a field of over 20 drivers packing a half-mile circuit. It's a very small track. However, there's room for every driver to make some mistakes and sometimes get away with it. Kuntz gets back on the order. Ryan Rose is running in second, and Rose has been fast, simply needs that execution to come together. At Las Vegas, had top 5 speed, ended up in the wall with about 40 laps to go, and that's really what set him backwards. We've seen him race frequently on McConey Entertainment Fast Fridays, where he's had top 5, top 10 speed before. Just has to work on getting it to the end there, and I think that's going to be the big caveat to his racing style, at least for now. Return of some veterans tonight in the form of Matthew Weeks, and also in the form of a ARCA veteran, and since he has, of course, seasons of real racing under his belt, and Brayton Laster, CJ Allman is back on the track. Michael Deitch will return too. Marshall Harris, he's making his first run at with a number 21 machine, and it's time for drivers to grab a gear. Jordan Kuntz moves away from the start-finish line, and the field is soon to follow. Clear skies from the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway tonight. 82 degrees air temperature, 85 degrees Fahrenheit track temperature. So overall, very mild conditions on the circuit. That will not come into play in regards to affecting these drivers. So we don't expect to see all too much excessive tire wear. However, here at Bristol, the tire fall off is major. Expecting some laps originally in about the 14-odd second range, but they're going to fall drastically. We'll see 16-second laps by the end of our run, and maybe end up in the 17s if drivers have more trouble. It's Kuntz, Rose, and Connor James at the line. 1 lap to green. Defending champion on the pole position, Ryan Rose, one of the rookies who's there in second. And of your top 10, we see Ryan Rose, Connor James, Matt Grab, and Vincent Guecci. So we have ourselves 4 rookies in the top 10. They've been about as quick as any other driver this season, so don't count them out. The new drivers are sure to give these veterans at least a run for their money. It's Kuntz, top of the board though, and he's ready to lead the field through. Time to get the Thunder Valley 150 started as the iRacing official pace car drops down a pit road, this time by. Kuntz has control and will bring them all to the green flag. We're underway in Bristol, and it's time to get things rolling in the last great coliseum. At the line, Jordan Kuntz has control and brings it by 0.3 of a second over Ryan Rose. Nice jump out there, and that's going to be the name of the game so far for that 99. Get away on those restarts, get away on the initial jump, and yourself a lot less trouble as the night goes on. The engines are beginning to roar here, and you can see side-by-side battles. Guecci's going to be neck and neck there with Jackson Van Pelt. Yellow flag is out, though. CJ Allman finds trouble, and he finds it alone down the back straightaway. So the yellow flag is out immediately there for CJ Allman. We'll take a look back and find out what happened here. Doesn't look to be a major hit, but the 97 machine to CJ Allman finds trouble though, so we'll see what caused it. Allman going to be going up to the top side of the track there in his Ford EcoBoost Ford Mustang. Right behind Brayton Laster, goes down to the bottom side. He has room, and it looks like he loses it on his own there, so he's going to drop to the bottom of the track. Luckily collects nobody else, but that's still going to bring out the caution regardless. Yellow flag is out 4 laps in out of 150, and we are under pacing for the first time tonight. Jordan Kuntz is your leader, Ryan Rose is second, and third is Connor James. That's how they roll. 5 laps in out of 150. Time to see whether or not we have any movers so far in terms of the field. Right now, of your top 10 who are on the starting grid, only one of which is outside of the top 10. That is Vinny Tigner. He moved from 10th to 11th. He gave way to James Jungerman, who went from 11th to 10th. For the rest of the field, it's mostly the same. No major movers so far. Patrick Gentner, who's gone up from 20th to 18th. He counts as one of the bigger movers right now. And from 18th to 15th, Alec Daffin is gone. Overall, though, nothing crazy in terms of position change. Top 3 remain the same. All of your top 5 from the grid remain inside of the top 5. However, it is Henry Kaloff who moves from 5th to 4th. So in that very quick sprint up, only one position change inside the top 5. Everyone else remains the same, and already 1 lap to green this time through. Going to be a quick yellow flag to get us going once again, so we don't waste all too much time under pacing. It's Kuntz and Ryan Rose once again who will have the jump. Focus on the way Jordan Kuntz gets things going. When the tires start rolling for him and he puts the power down, got to find a way to sort of fake out the rest of the field and get away with that major run off the corner. Kuntz does it again, gets the jump. He's already 2 car lengths clear. Green flag is out again, and we're back underway at Bristol. Quick move out in front for Kuntz, but it's going to be Henry Kaloff who's making another move. He's going for second already. Number 63 machine drops down to the bottom side, looks low, has the room, and it's Ryan Rose right up top. Rose is going to stay in the middle of the track right now, but Jordan Kuntz has no room for battling. Henry Kaloff adopts the same mentality and makes it right by Ryan Rose. Kaloff is quick, and he makes it up to the runner-up spot. Ryan Rose gives way to 1, but the rest of the field hasn't gotten that risky. Connor James, Matt Grab, Matthew Weeks all together right now, and so is Jackson Van Pelt right on board with Kenneth Garrell. He's in the heat of the battle, and everyone is bunched up. It's the closest battle all throughout the track right now, and this is the fight from as high as 3rd down to about 9th. Brayton Laster is right behind us, and so is James Jungerman. You'll see Garrell is going to be neck and neck with Matt Grab. Grab has trouble, and it looks like he saves it. Matt Grab is going to bring way to the yellow flag. Those other drivers have trouble, and the caution's out. Weeks involved. CJ Allman looks like also going to be Patrick Gentner, and it's a big caution, major pileup, and it started with Matt Grab going around. Number 53 had trouble, and it looks like from there, everything got worse. And we're going to take a look above the track this time by Matt Grab. He's going to be the cause initially of the yellow. And you see he gets loose on his own, tries to save it, comes up into Weeks, and he also comes up into Jackson Van Pelt. And then drivers pile through. You see Patrick Gentner gets a piece, and then it's CJ Allman, Michael Deitch. Everyone comes together, and it's a big stack up. That gives way to our second caution of the day, 13 laps in, and we're starting to see a bit of that attrition that we always see here in Bristol. A few drivers that got away notably. Brayton Laster makes it up into 7th. We were right on board with him right now as he was in the thick of the battle before things got dicey. So here's a look on board with the number 95 machine. We'll see what just happened from the roll-bar of this number 95. And see there, everything happens right beyond Brayton Laster's side mirror. He actually gets by just beyond the view of his windshield. Just like that, Laster is going to be clear in 7th. Very nicely done for him to just stay in his lane and, of course, stay calm. But overall, nothing major that impacted him. Laster, nice move there. Overall, though, looks like the rest of the field got by. You can see your leaders, Kuntz, Henry Kaloff, Ryan Rose, and company. They're all together and trying to make things happen in terms of strategy here. 14 laps in, and now we begin the next conversation. Fuel strategy is going to be major, and it looks like with the way things are going, it will come down to a pit stop. Maybe not green flag racing the way things are, and becomes whether or not Jordan Kuntz or Henry Kaloff or Ryan Rose will be the driver to make that move and maybe going early. We see now Deitch, Van Pelt, Brendan Carroll, they've all gone in for a pit stop at least once now, so some drivers are trying to go in early to get themselves a new set of tire and some more fuel. Carroll's going to miss a stall there though, but he does have 4 sets of tires to work with, the one he starts with, and 3 extra sets on pit roads. So with 150 laps on the table, you have a lot of time to use those tires. Trying to get an advantage now early might be the way to go for someone like Deitch, who just came out. He's in 15th, has the most track position of any driver right now, who finds themselves in the mix up in front. 15th out of a total of 22 who took the green flag. Gentner disconnects after major trouble. It looks like that damage too much for him to keep on going. Mac Grab is 2 laps down, continuing to get repairs. CJ Almond, more of the same. You'll see now that James Jungerman gets back on the way. He remains on the lead lap, and it looks like he's reading out his, of course, scenario, trying to understand the perfect circumstance, but it looks like he gets enough damage repair to get back on the way. 16 laps in out of 150, 1 lap to green this time by. It's the Shaw Racing 99 to Jordan Kuntz right beside Henry Kaloff, and they'll be set to take the green flag for the second restart of the day. Kuntz has led all 16 laps so far. Henry Kaloff, he's made his way up from 4th on the starting grid up to 2nd. He's the big mover so far, and he's definitely the driver to watch out for. If anyone can compete with Jordan, looks like the CB fabricating machine has a chance to do so. Down a pit road, Kuntz is going to keep the lead, and he'll drive them right through the restart zone. Back on the way, green flag's out, and Kuntz gets the jump. Double filed several rows deep. Points leader Vinny Tigner going to be on the high side here with Alec Daffin. While Tigner runs in 9th, he knows that one of his main championship rivals is back in contention today. That is Jordan Kuntz, and he already leads. He's led several laps and looks to be on track to lead the most if anyone can get to him. And it looks like right now with Henry Kaloff 2 tenths behind, Vinny's got to start thinking about what he can do to maintain that points advantage, because right now, while he has the advantage of completing both races, Jordan Kuntz finds a way to dissipate that advantage no matter what. And we're going to take a look at our point standings right now while we mention Vinny Tigner, who goes into the day as your overall championship leader. Jordan Kuntz is down to 6th in the point standings, 38 points behind as one driver sees trouble. That's going to be Marshall Harris. He drops down low and saves it. Nice move there for the black and blue number 21. Back up to Vinny Tigner, though. He leads the championship standings by 5 points over Jackson Van Pelt and James Thurston. Thurston is not racing tonight, and while Jackson Van Pelt is, he's behind Vinny. Then you have Patrick Gentner, who's 4th in points. He disconnected. He's no longer with us racing right now. And then there's Chris Tripp, Scott Erickson, Henry Kaloff, and Jordan Kuntz. We're all tied. Kuntz has the opportunity to move up to 3rd in the points tonight, and that's if he can just keep it in front of Tripp, Erickson, and, of course, keep it in front of Jackson Van Pelt. There's a chance to keep on moving through the standings, but Henry Kaloff, who's also a championship contender, he's right there too. Just mentioned, these two are tied in the championship standings. Even though Henry Kaloff completed both races, they weren't as successful as he'd like to be. Right now, it's just about getting back on track. Las Vegas didn't really go his way in terms of strategy. Daytona, the big one, he got caught up in some of the nastiest wrecks we saw all night long at that circuit. So here, it's time to chase down the championship leader of course, seasons prior. Learn from the veterans. CJ Allman is going to be down on the apron, and the battle for the lead begins to pick up steam here. Here's a look on board from Jordan Kuntz. Staying on board right now with the number 99, Andrew Schulte in chat gives us a little bit of a tidbit. Yep, James Thurston is in Daytona right now, so can't race this week. At least for the time being, he's watching the 24 hours of Daytona unfold, and that's a fantastic racing event, so I don't see any reason he has, of course, the perfect opportunity to enjoy some of the finest motor racing in all of the country. Meanwhile, these drivers might not be at the real circuit, but they're experiencing it here in iRacing and giving us a great show. 28 laps in out of 150. The closest battle right now is not between your leaders, but instead, it's the fight right now for 10th. Jackson Van Pelt on the bottom side, and it's going to be up top, Chris Tripp. 2 throwback paint schemes, one to Cale Yarbrough and one to the Havoline machine, driven by many stock car legends, be it Davey Allison, be it a driver such as Ernie Irvin or Juan Pablo Montoya, who drove that throwback scheme in his earlier career with Chip Ganassi. Right now, these 2 throwback machines are fighting each other hard, and this is the battle right behind Vinny Tigner. They're really hoping to keep inside the top 10. Tripp is going to scrape the wall, and he'll have to fade right behind Jackson Van Pelt there. So it's going to be Van Pelt back up in the 10th. Chris Tripp is going to be there in 11th, and Matthew Weeks holds his own in 12th here, laying back by about 0.6 of a second. The main pack right now is going to be his core from Brayton Laster on down. And Brayton Laster's number 95. We took a bit of time to talk about it earlier in qualifying, but now, of course, the viewers come to watch the main race. So we'll talk about it a little more. This all-pink number 95 machine might not be the prettiest in some people's opinions, but I'll tell you this much, it's eye-catching. And one other thing that might catch your eye is a special deal Brayton Laster has when it comes to his ARCA Menards race that he has very shortly at Daytona. His team's been doing some Daytona testing. You might know some familiar names at that test. How about Shane Van Gisbergen? How about Frankie Muniz of Malcolm in the Middle? How about Presley Sora if you're a little more iRacing inclined? Brayton Laster, one of the many who's taken some times there at Daytona, and he's got a special offer for the fans. For as little as $100, you have a chance to be part of his team at Daytona and put yourself on the car with a 3x3-inch decal that'll be on the deck lid for all of his runs in Speed Weeks 2024. Keep your eyes peeled. Brayton Laster, he's got a chance to bring the fans to Daytona and bring the sponsorship aspect to the Commodore. Here's one driver's got trouble. There's going to be Vincent Guecci, and Vinny's going to have himself a huge shunt down to the inside. Vinny Tigner, you saw there, rather Vincent Guecci, he's got a huge trouble there. He got right by Tigner, but it looks like he's got no front end. Look at that. The right front is gone. And Vincent Guecci all but destroyed. I think that's his night in one foul swoop. How about that? Take a look one more time here. It's the number 19 machine racing with Vinny Tigner, and it looks like Vincent Guecci gets a piece. Down to the inside of the circuit. He stays there on the apron. Didn't look to get involved with anyone before he went around, and you'll see Jackson Van Pelt. That's going to be the kicker, quite literally at least. That's going to be Vincent Guecci sent to the inside barrier, and the Auto Owners Toyota is going to be absolutely destroyed. Don't think there's any chance to get back on the track tonight for Vincent Guecci. That's huge damage. The right front is shredded. And unfortunate there, a minor contact gives way to a huge wreck. Nobody else caught up in it. You'll see Tigner, Brayton Laster, CJ Allman on pit road. Vincent Guecci, it's going to take a lot of time to get that suspension repaired, if it's even possible. Yellow flag is out for the 3rd time today, and 38 laps into 150. It's Jordan Kuntz leading, Henry Kaloff second, and Connor James is in 3rd. That is your podium so far. Kaloff has maintained his spot in the top 2 very well so far. He's been able to make his way up from the top 5 and 5th all the way up to 2nd, keeping Jordan Kuntz honest. And we're seeing some drivers, some of the guys up in front are making their way to pit road. Asbel, Vinny Tigner, Brayton Laster, Alec Daffin. They all went down to pit road within the last 2 laps. Alec Daffin is still on pit road. He just exited after a 14.3 second pit stop. So now we're starting to see some of our front runners take service. Daffin is one of which for Colorado Technical University. And right now he's putting his number 48 in good hands. Got the newer set of tire. However, we've seen Alec Davin's had a lot of trouble this season so far. Some of it self-inflicted, some of it not so much. Daytona, technical issues, had to unfortunately retire the car after about 50, 60 laps in. Just could not keep going, so he had to settle for a mid-20s finish. Then Las Vegas had top 5 speed, was honestly fighting for a podium, and then speeding penalty on pit road, and that ended his night. So unfortunately for Alec Daffin, he's seen 2 consecutive races fall by the wayside. So honestly, for him, he needs a rebound night more than anything else. And I think he's got the speed to, of course, put it together. However, the luck right now for Alec Daffin, that luck department sometimes just doesn't play into your hand. We saw Daffin, he was shooting into pit road, trying to stay with the leaders on strategy in Sin City, and he rolled his dice. Just couldn't come up with anything of substance. Daffin, though, runs 14th right now. He's right behind Tyler Seabear and Matthew Weeks. James Bowden's in 11th. It's going to be Brayton Laster, who's in 10th. Ninth will then be Vinny Tigner. 8th place is going to be Connor Asbell, who leads all those who went down a pit road in this most recent stint. Now as they're double file all over again, it's time to let Jordan Coots lead the field once more. 1 lap to green this time by. We are 41 laps in. After joining us for the first time tonight, this is the 3rd caution of the Thunder Valley 150. Stay tuned though, the race lead battle's getting heated. And with guys like Kenneth Gorell, Connor James, both coming up at the same time, I think we're going to see a lot more action in the coming laps. Pace car comes in this time through. Kuntz has control. Kaloff is right there. Green flag's out, and Jordan Kuntz once again has control. And it's going to be Kuntz right ahead there of Henry Kaloff. Top 2 get away nicely again. Kenneth Gorell is now in 3rd, and he gets by Connor James, who's held that spot for most of the night. Keep it in mind, this Twisted T number 57, running top 10 as of recent. He had a lot of struggles in the trucks last season. However, it seems like these Xfinity machines have really been his calling in terms of being a much quicker driver, race in, race out. So expect a lot more out of this number 57, Kenneth Gorell. He's running smoothly right now, right beside Jackson Van Pelt, and I think that's more of the same for what we're going to see in the future here as Connor James does take his spot back. So it looks like James just has the speed right now to maintain that position without any struggle. Jackson Van Pelt is going to be in 4th. And Ryan Rose, we saw up in the front row, is back once again. Now it's going to be Ryan Rose trying to make his moves in, as you see a bit of a shuffle there for a lot of drivers. Daffin, Laster, Weeks, Chris Tripp, they're 3 wide for a brief moment. Luckily, nothing major comes of it, but you can see definitely an antsy scenario. Tyler Seabear was caught in the middle, and for some of these drivers with damage, you can't react as quickly to the circumstances on the track. Luckily, nothing crazy happened, and you'll see some drivers drop back. I mean, Kenneth Gorell now down to 11th. But it's better not to have a wrecked race car rather than losing a few spots. Ryan Rose is going to get passed by Vinny Tigner. That is the fight for 5th. Vinny takes the spot quite quickly, makes his way back up inside the top 5. So far, it's been a successful night for Tigner in terms of gaining. He started 10th. He's made his way up into 5th. Biggest mover so far tonight, though, has been from 18th to 7th in Alec Daffin, and he's moved up 11 spots so far and continues to do so as he's now looking for spot number 12. Daffin down to the bottom side, and he's got himself a run at 6th. Takes it, gets it at the corner, and nicely done at the 3rd way mark. It's now Alec Daffin up to 6th with Michael Deitch seeing trouble. He's on the bottom of the track and looks like nobody else involved. You can see the skid marks. He drifted down low, but doesn't get anyone caught up in it. Vinny Tigner's now looking for 3rd. Connor James is going to keep up high. Vinny Tigner decides to go right under, and that's going to be the move. How about that? It's going to be 12th place, of course, for Alec Daffin. He was previously in. He moves up into 6th. The number 12 moves up from 10th now to 3rd, looking for 2nd. Vinny's going to go down to the bottom side for another spot, and he's going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and keeps that machine moving quicker than anyone else. That time by, Vinny was a 10th of a second faster than Jordan Kuntz, and the reason is tires. 15 laps of age for Vinny Tigner, whereas for Jordan Kuntz, he's got 53 laps of wear. So Vinny has pitted once, Jordan Kuntz has chosen not to. And for the drivers who have not chosen to so far, they're stacking up for later, where they're expecting, perhaps, maybe we're going to see a longer green flag run where you need to continuously come down to pit road, or maybe we see some chaotic yellow flags where you have to have everything set up for the late race going in a short sprint. Right now, Vinny is really reaping the benefits, though. Look at how much quicker he is every lap. That time by 15.338 as compared to Jordan Kuntz with a 15.661. Take a look at this now. Coming through, 55 laps in now to lap 56. Vinny's looking low. He's got room, and now they're side by side for the race lead all night long. Nobody else has led a lap so far.
And that's going to change. Vinny Tigner now has a chance to clear off the exit of turn 2. They're side by side through 1. And the 99 is maintaining it up high, giving a good fight. But it's going to be very tough to hold on even still. Jordan Kuntz is right there, but it looks like he's going to give in. Vinny Tigner, new race leader, and has it up in front with Alec Daffin moving up to third. There's James Jungerman. That's a lap machine. Vinny has full control of the field for the first time all night long. The 48 is coming through as well. Watch for Alec Daffin. Now he's going to try to take it in a second, and the drivers who have new tires are making their moves and reaping all the benefits. As we previously stated, right now, this is the biggest time for drivers to gain spots. Those newer sets of Goodyear rubber really playing into the hands nicely. Brayton Laster finds himself with new tires. He's in 8th right now and trying to make it by Jackson Van Pelt. He's got damage though. It's going to be a bit tougher. You can see the front end is banged up just a bit, so we might have some engine damage, potentially something in the suspension, but I think a lot of it is guaranteed aerodynamic damage. You'll see Henry Kaloff is fading back right now, and as many drivers who are gaining, there's as many who are losing, because Kaloff has gone from 2nd to 5th. He's back where he started this race in, and now might even lose more spots because Connor James is looking for one, and Jordan Kuntz is getting swallowed up as well. The leaders of old are getting passed up quickly. And all of a sudden, we're seeing a new wave of drivers make their way through. Jordan Kuntz right now going to be in 3rd. Alec Daffin made his way up in a 2nd. And Daffin right now tries to chase down Vinny Tigner. Daffin has the youngest set of tires in the entire field right now, save for lap machines Brendan Carroll and Michael Deitch. These leaders slowly but surely differentiating in strategy, and come lap 75, that's when everything really comes to a head, because the halfway marker, that might determine whether or not someone like Jordan Kuntz comes down a pit road. And I think for Jordan, it is a one-stop strategy right now, looking at about a lap 75, lap 80 pit stop, if anything. It really shouldn't have the need to go in any time beforehand, because he's 64 laps in, and if he pitted now, he'd have to make a second pit stop by that logic. So he would have one more pit stop at least in the back pocket. We don't expect any more if we stay under green as we are right now. Side by side, Connor James was with Brayton Laster and Henry Kaloff, but right now, it looks like Kaloff is going to maintain his spot in 5th. Connor James goes down low. He'll try to take one away, and Laster, Ryan Rose, Jackson Van Pelt, they're all waiting in the wings. Ryan Rose is a 66-lap old set. He's hanging on with old rubber. However, it looks like right now, Brayton Laster is going to go high, and it's going to be Connor James going right down low, trying to split that 63. They will. 3 wide down the back straightaway. Very close there for Brayton Laster. He tries to get some room, but doesn't have enough, so he'll hang back right now. Connor James maintains it way down low, and they're side by side coming across the stripe again. Henry Kaloff is fighting for what he's got here in 5th as Vinny Tigner comes across the line. Nicely done, 69 laps in. He's still the leader, and it's going to be Connor Asbell down a pit road for the first strategic stop of the night. Down and in, Connor Asbell makes it through. It's now Brayton Laster who's going to be up in a 6th, looking for a top 5 spot. He'll go high, and it's Kaloff now down low. Big-time defense here for Henry Kaloff. He's played it off very well to this point, but at some point you just got to give, and there you have it. Brayton Laster makes it a 5th. Ryan Rose is now going to go for 6th. Rose is actually benefiting from using these older tires less instead of going down a pit road. He's letting a guy like Brayton Laster do more of the work, having Connor James sort of shuttle him around, and with that advantage of being in this new tire sandwich, it really does assist the driver who is saving his resources for when they matter the most. 72 laps in out of 150. Ryan Rose is going to give way to Brayton Laster in the top 5. Marshall Harris is right now chasing down Jordan Kuntz. And actually, Harris, who's a rookie driver we have not seen much of, really showing what he's got today. At the line, he's going to go through with a 16.314. 1/10 of a second quicker than Jordan Kuntz. Harris is going to look low, doesn't have the room right now, but Kuntz is going to give him a shot, and now it's the 21 down to the bottom side, just can't find the room, and at the line, he's still trying to find something. Now Marshall Harris is actually going to go high in the Cabela number 21, and every lane is applicable right now. Kuntz is simply slower, and that time by he was slower by only a few thousandths. But the reason being, Harris is getting held up. He gets by now, and Kuntz fades back to 4th, the lowest spot he's running all night long. So struggling a bit more right now, Jordan Kuntz, I'm sure he can't wait until he'll go down a pit road. At the line, though, for Vinny Tigner, 75 laps to go, and we've made it now to the halfway marker. There's still 75 laps remaining. The first half of this one's gone pretty quick after the first few yellows. Jackson Van Pelt is with a lap group. He's got Tyler Seabear and Matthew Weeks with them. And now Vinny Tigner faces his first challenge of the lap machines. You gotta start working around these drivers. They might not be fighting for the race lead, but they're still on the track, and they still have the right to defend their positions, so you gotta understand who's gonna let you go, how do you get around them, and what can you do to maybe use these guys as sort of a block. You can see right now it's a bit of a roadblock for Alec Daffin. He's caught up high. He's got to find a way to go down to the bottom on Van Pelt, maybe make it by Matthew Weeks at the same time. That he does, but it cost him a tenth of a second, and that's a valuable tenth when now these tires are beginning to level out. Well, nicely done for Vinny Tigner, playing that lap car strategy very well. And now look at this. This is the battle for 5th, mind you, and they're going to be put 1 lap down. That's how close Vinny Tigner is to getting to him. Your leader's in the back of the frame. This is the fight for 5th place, and this is all on raw pace, mind you, so it shows how quick Vinny Tigner is with these new tires. He's really locked in. He's hooked himself up very well. Brayton Laster going to rip the top a bit too much there, and the 95 machine, all pink, starting to show signs of wear, and that might help out Connor James here, but Vinny's coming quick. Now set to put another batch 1 lap down. It's going to be Ryan Rose up next, but Vinny Tigner's in the wall, and your leader's going to get up and over nearly. Michael Deitch has big trouble, and now we got a new race leader. Alec Daffin also has trouble as well. Your leaders have blown up, and Marshall Harris is set to take the lead. And your top 2 drivers combust at the same time. Take a look once again. Yellow flag is out. Unbelievable. And you can see there's Vinny Tigner. He looks down low. He's trying to get by Henry Kaloff. That he does. And it all begins when he gets by Michael Deitch here. You can see the number 12 machine drops down to the bottom. He's looking there. Deitch wiggles once. Does not wiggle again. Now through 1 and 2. Vinny Tigner might have moved up. Deitch also slows down. And when Deitch comes back, he pummels the 48. Your leaders, 1st and 2nd, they get, I don't know how else to say it besides destroyed just at once. And with 67 laps to go, the bad luck continues for Alec Daffin because he gets the worst of it, and the front end is gone. In addition, Jordan Kuntz, he's going to have a chance to recover. Vinny Tigner, your points leader and your race leader, all at once. He sees those hopes perhaps go up in smoke. He'll go down a pit road this time by with 67 laps to go, has damage to repair, and now it's time for a big run down a pit road for strategy reasons as well. Huge change, and with 66 laps to go, pit road gets busy once again. We'll watch and see who comes out of pit road first here, because this is, I think, the most important stop of the night. We went 85 laps for some drivers without a pit stop, whereas for a driver such as Jordan Kuntz or Alec Daffin or Vinny Tigner, different strategies in play, and as they come through this time by, Kuntz is getting the winner off of pit road. You'll see Matt Grab, then Kenneth Garrell, and also going to be the number 21 of Marshall Harris, followed quickly by Connor James. Taking a look over the track right now, you'll see largely pit road is empty, but Brayton Laster's getting out right now. We're watching his number 95 come through. Vinny Tigner remains on the pit road surface. Chris Tripp just came in. Michael Deitch, Alec Daffin, extensive damage repairs. And it looks like it's going to be the number 32, James Jungerman, still there as well. We saw Vinny Tigner go 1 lap down. Brayton Laster scored as the final driver on the lead lap, finds himself right now in 10th. With 65 laps to go, we still have ourselves a race to behold here. The race for lead might look different now, but I think we've still got some strong competitors, largely in part because these two, Henry Kaloff, Alec Daffin, they're still together. They still find themselves up ahead. They're scored 2nd and 3rd, but if Matthew Weeks went down a pit road, they'd be the leader. Keep in mind, though, Matthew Weeks now has new tires as well. For the first time, we get a chance to see what Matthew Weeks can do with the same equipment. He's been quick, and we know how quick he can be at a bigger track. However, these half miles have not necessarily been his forte in seasons past. Time to find out whether or not he can break that stigma and maybe make his way through. The pace car with 1 lap to green is set to let go, and at lap number 88, we'll get back to the racing here. Matthew Weeks, for the first time tonight, is your control car, and it's Jordan Kuntz then in second. Henry Kaloff is in third with Marshall Harris in fourth. And the field will get ready to rumble once again in Bristol, Tennessee. The pace car drops in. Matthew Weeks has control, and the green flag will fly. 63 laps to go with Matthew Weeks leading the way. It's going to be Jordan Kuntz once again getting the jump. You see how quickly Matthew Weeks faded back, and all of the same, Jordan Kuntz is your race leader. Henry Kaloff is in second, and Connor James is in third. And much like it was at the start of this race, that's the same top three we were looking at previously. 5 laps down, Vinny Tigner is still on pit road. It looks like Brendan Carroll just got back on the track. He's 7 laps down, so some lappers are returning to the circuit with Connor James, Matthew Weeks, Brayton Lasker rounding out the top 5. Looks like now it's going to be Kenneth Gorell looking to the bottom side of Brayton, and they'll be side by side. That's not for position, though, so Brayton Lasker just going to let him by quickly. Nothing really comes of that. It's not really going to be a pass for anything noteworthy. Jordan Kuntz is still the man with a top spot. However, a quarter of a second back, and slowly coming back up there, there's Henry Kaloff. That time by, he was 5/100ths of a second quicker. Not a major gain, however, it's just enough to keep in mind, because that time it was more like 1/10 of a second. Now we're starting to see Connor James come into this as well. The 3-car battle for the lead. Jordan Kuntz, though, has the ability that a lot of drivers don't in terms of making the long run work better than the short. A lot of the precision in regards to Jordan Kuntz and his strategy comes in mind when you see these longer runs. 10, 15 laps, sometimes he's not the quickest driver. When you look more into the future, 30, 40, 50 laps, when everyone else is on that same stint as he is, really hard to get by him. Honestly, almost impossible at times it seems. And right now, he's holding the drivers right behind him without any hesitation. Henry Kaloff is still there, and he has a good chance to move up in the point standings right behind Jordan, but he knows that a win, much like the one he had last season at Talladega, would be so much more, not only in terms of the points, but in terms of that prestige. He has 1 win so far in his SNT career, came at Talladega last season, and now is looking for a chance to break through at different types of tracks. Second right now, and he's clearly the second best driver on the track so far tonight. But it's always different when it comes down to being the best of the best and being the best of the rest here. 53 laps to go this time by. 98 laps in. One driver just made his way off pit road. That is Vinny Tigner. And after the struggles in that previous caution, he and James Jungerman both returned to the track. And they're 13 and 16 laps down respectively. So effectively speaking, their night is all but over here. Doesn't mean they can't come back. Definitely going to be much tougher as the race progresses. Coming to the line for lap 100 here, Jordan Kuntz is going to be the man who still leads the way. Let's take a ride on board and find out what he's doing inside the cockpit that keeps him so quick after all these laps. And now as we watch on board with Jordan Kuntz, it's that number 99 machine that we've always been focusing on tonight. From the pole position on, he's been the dominant driver, and with 49 laps to go, driving his car more of the same. Minute adjustments, nothing too crazy, just making the proper moves when necessary. tilting it, of course, harder left into the corner, letting the banking do a lot of the work, and using that bottom groove to cut that distance here. You can see he's using a lot more of the track than other drivers previously, and it's working out, as now Connor James second, Henry Kaloff has faded back into third, and Matthew Weeks, despite the fact that he immediately dropped off the podium, he's still there in fourth and running a very serviceable run to this point, just outside the podium, still firmly inside the top 5, and with number 78 of Ryan Rose coming up, it could be a battle for the top 5 here for the two of them. But Jackson Van Pelt is about half a second further back. Really not going to be attainable right now for Jackson Van Pelt without any other trouble. And with 46 laps to go this time by, the Thunder Valley 150 falls really in the hands of those who are in the podium, at least for the time being. A good battle, though, that's brewing is going to be further back between Chris Tripp and James Bowden. It looks like Tripp is definitely quicker right now in the Hardee's number 90. And you'll see him go right up top. He's got the ability to take it up to that high side, now take that line away. So Bowden's going to be stuck in the middle at the very highest, and he's going to use that group to try and hold on. Tripp's not going to make it easy, though, and it looks like in one lap he'll be able to make that pass clear and away of the number 52. Quick move there for Chris Tripp. He's going to get the pass done and done. Ryan Rose is now fighting with Matthew Weeks and Kenneth Gorell, who is in the Twisted T57. He's a lap machine, so he's not going to be part of this battle. However, Ryan Rose is going to keep Matthew Weeks honest, and there is the number 78 holding on in fifth. Weeks is still there, just within the confines of the top 5, and actually pulls away on that lap. Looks like Ryan Rose all of a sudden has a bit of a mistake made and loses 0.2 of a second in one circuit alone. Chris Tripp is now chasing down Brayton Laster, goes up to the high side. This is the battle for 8th, and it looks like Brayton's going to get past quickly. Chris Tripp is now on a tear and makes up 2 spots in the last 5 laps, and definitely is the quickest driver in this segment of the pack. I mean, he's running about the same lap times as Henry Kaloff, who's in third. So definitely quick and consistent right now, although that also speaks to Henry Kaloff slowly but surely having a bit more trouble maintaining his speed. That time by, Kaloff was 0.2 of a second slower than Matthew Weeks, so even though he's up there in third and has a lot of room to keep that podium spot, he's not really growing that gap. Matter of fact, he's slowly but surely losing it, and now a second and a half back, Matthew Weeks is coming. Ryan Rose is right there too. So Weeks and Rose, they both have a chance to move up into the podium. The closer they stay to each other, the quicker they push each other to go, the more time they'll make up on Henry Kaloff. Kaloff now only has about a second to work with, and that was about 2 seconds, 10 laps ago. So he's losing time and overall losing speed lap after lap. Now he's in the 16-second bracket, and as we mentioned, as drivers begin to struggle with tire wear, that's going to be much more common. So now 16 seconds a lap for Henry Kaloff, about the slowest driver in the field, save for, it looks like right now, a lap machine to Michael Deitch. The rest of your field right now is running quicker, and Kaloff struggling big time in regards to the troubles in terms of tire wear and becoming more and more severe as the night goes on. Jordan Kuntz, as it stands, finds himself as the leader, 1.5 seconds ahead of Connor James, still quicker than Connor as a matter of fact, so he does not have much to worry about here with 35 laps to go. Coming down to 34, now it becomes about getting around these lap machines. There's Tyler Seaver, who currently runs in the 14th position, now up to 11th as a matter of fact, and from 22nd on the grid, Tyler is currently our biggest mover. Actually, he's tied with James Bowden for that accolade, because James Bowden went from 21st to 11th, and actually 21st now to 10th. He's made up a few spots, more than almost anyone in the field, save for Tyler Seaver, but right now he has that advantage of being inside the top 10. He just went 1 lap down, so now only 9 drivers remain on the lead lap. Brayton Laster is set to go 1 lap down, and the clean air that comes from being the race leader is unbelievable. I mean, this has been only about a 30-lap run. There's only 9 drivers on the lead lap now. Actually, make that 8, because Brayton Laster just went 1 lap down. So despite the fact that Jordan Kuntz has had little time to work with compared to that earlier run, he's much quicker than everyone else, and it shows. Brendan Carroll has trouble this time by, and he's going to be parked on the inside of the circuit. 30 laps to go. He is stalled there. Does not look like he has intentions to go once again. That's a hazard, and he does take it off the track, so that will not be a forced caution, thankfully. But Brendan Carroll looks to disconnect. That's going to be the end of his night. Nothing much else that he can do as he's going to park it and leave it on the circuit to dry. 29 laps to go this time by. There are only now a total of 8 drivers on lead lap. Marshall Harris is the last of which now, and he's trying to get back up to Chris Tripp and Jackson Van Pelt, as Van Pelt is now trying to get by Henry Kaloff. Henry finds himself currently in the 5th position. However, he could drop one more and actually end up with a negative on the day, which didn't seem to be probable in the slightest, especially given that he was up to 2nd by the time we hit lap 10. Now at lap 125, it's going to be neck and neck as a stripe, but Van Pelt looks to have the advantage. He'll get by in just a few laps' time. Jackson Van Pelt back up into the top 5. Looks like FPS troubles there for Brendan Carroll. Henry Kaloff is keeping it hot and heavy. Not going to be an easy pass at all as they come across the line again. Henry Kaloff puts the defense back on, and it looks like he just turned it back into a new gear. We haven't seen that much of Henry Kaloff in the past few laps trying to defend his position. Looks like he thinks certainly that he's quick enough to go for it. But Jackson Van Pelt is going to keep on fighting. 25 laps remaining. This has been a quick race all around. And we're coming down to the final leg of this tour. Ryan Rose is going to be right now fighting with Matthew Weeks. This is the battle for 3rd. They got by Kaloff. Now there's a new battle for the top 3. And Brayton Laster, the lap machine, gets right out of their way yet again. Jordan Kuntz in the number 99 now only has 23 laps to go, and as always, live on FTN, we're going to crank it up with 22 laps to go with the best cameras on the iRacing platform. TrackCams22.com provides over 100 track and car combinations of custom cameras. Whatever you need them for, TrackCams has it covered. Be sure to check out TrackCams22.com after tonight's broadcast as we will crank it up with 22 laps to go. And coming back now with a total of only 14 laps to go, Jordan Kuntz leads the way and holds his own up in front of the field, and he's been the man from start to finish to keep an eye out for. I'll tell you this much, more and more, he's building that gap. 6 seconds. And we stopped that James Thurston's run was dominant last week. We're looking at another one. He's got a half lap ahead of the field, and there are 7 drivers. Make it 6 on the lead lap. And mind you, this is in a total of a 51 lap run. Kuntz has been able to put almost the entire field 1 lap down in 50 odd laps. Now it's going to be 54 as a matter of fact in total, but 51 under green in terms of this stint. It's been a very impressive run, and I think it'll be only 4 drivers who are on the lead lap by the end of this race. Kaloff is struggling, and you see him there. He's going to end up moving up to the top side. You got to let the leader through in that instance, but Brayton Laster's there too. So it's going to be Kaloff staying in the middle, defending on Jordan Kuntz. There'll be 3 wide, and it looks like Laster lets him go. Kuntz stays up top, and he'll get another spot. Jordan Kuntz has now only 5 drivers on the same lap as him, and Jackson Van Pelt is one of them. Take a look now as you'll see that 07. He's going to be quick enough to maybe maintain for a few more laps, but Kuntz is not letting up. He is not going to back down, and he's looking for another spot once again. We're looking for a few other battles, though. Matthew Weeks and Connor James. This is the battle for second, and also Ryan Rose is right there, too. The battle for the runner-up spot is far from over here, and it looks like it's going to be Connor James in the hot seat right now with 9 laps to go. Connor James has been about the 3rd quickest driver all night long. After Henry Kaloff fell off in terms of tires, he's been the 2nd driver on the board. Now, though, it looks like that is no longer the case. He's got multiple drivers hounding him for a spot. Vinny Tigner, who's a Latin machine, he wishes he was up there for certain. He's going to be in the mix as well. Now Ryan Rose gets by Matthew Weeks. That's the pass for 3rd. And another spot made up. It's going to be now Ryan Rose inside the podium. That would be his first career podium if he gets the job done. Henry Kaloff going to be up to the top side. Now Ryan Rose goes down to the bottom, and he's going to look for Connor James. They're neck and neck and bumping doors. James Bowden is a lapper. He gets contact as well. They're going to split him 3 wide, and Connor James remains in 2nd. The runner-up battle now gets even closer at the end, and Matthew Weeks takes back 3rd. Ryan Rose gets antsy, so does Matthew Weeks. And now it looks like it's going to be Connor James holding his own as it was before. James just had to wait for things to get a bit riskier, and he took that spot right back. Very close racing. Luckily, nothing comes of it. Great job for James Bowden, too. He's a lap machine right now. And honestly, it would be a caution that benefits him more, but he did exactly what he had to do. He kept that car in full control. Very, very respectable job there. And as we mentioned, there are 4 drivers on the lead lap. And this is the battle for 2nd here. The rest of the field who was on the lead lap is battling for 1 spot. And then Jordan Kuntz is in his own zip code right now. And he's been that way all night long. James now up to the top side. It's going to be Matthew Weeks holding his own right down on the bottom. 2 laps to go this time by for the field, and as he comes across the stripe, there's a caution. Yellow flag will fly for Kenneth Gurrell, and we are going into overtime. Just 500 yards out from the white flag, Kenneth Gurrell looks to be at least part of the cause of bringing out the final caution of the day, and we are going to overtime. Take a look, Bowden, he's getting really beat up on these last few laps here. Once again, drivers are hitting him. Now James Jungerman takes him right up the track, and you can see Kenneth Gurrell goes down to the bottom. This is before everything kicks off, so 1 lap prior. Watching all the context here, Bowden actually lays the quarter panel and really just shifts him through. Wow. That was not a really quick bump and run. That was just 3-4 seconds of pushing and shoving, and nothing too crazy. I mean, at that point it was intentionally. I couldn't say it's anything premeditated, but you really saw that was a very slow disposal of Kenneth Gurrell, and we are going to overtime as a result. Yellow flag is out, and Henry Kaloff, Jordan Kuntz are up there. Kaloff has actually scored as your race leader, as a matter of fact, so keep that in mind. It's the number 63 with no new tires, mind you. He's up in front, and now looks to be coming down and in. So Kaloff is going to make it through. It's Jordan Kuntz, Connor James, Matthew Weeks, Ryan Rose. Those are your drivers on the lead lap. It's still going to be a very select few. However, now it's going to be all about whether or not someone gets the jump on this restart. Kuntz could pull away, as he did before, or you could see James, Weeks, Rose is something risky in mind. It would be all about the bump and run. It's Bristol. It's something we've seen before. These drivers are no strangers to making moves when it counts to win a race. I would not be surprised to see that, maybe. Don't expect it to be all too intentional in regards to aggression, but Jordan Kuntz has been all but unstoppable tonight. So I think if anyone's going to try, they'd have to try now. And now it's going to be 2 laps to green around the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. The fans are still packing the stands here as pit road is busy once again. 16 drivers remain on the track, going back to Brendan Carroll, who is 39 laps down. Through attrition alone, he's made it to just outside of the top 15, so overall, he's still a fighter here, and he's not going to give up. However, for all the drivers who are outside of the top 7 now, 7 drivers in the lead lap, there is realistically no chance of winning. However, there could be another caution. Now, let's explain the procedure, because we are headed into iRacing overtime. We have 3 attempts in regards to overtime in every race this season, so we have an opportunity to extend this race further. Actually, 2, mind you. So in this instance, we have 3 opportunities for a green, white, checkered, 2 opportunities for overtime. If we have a caution after this point, we will have our final caution of the race no matter what. However, in the instance that we go to the white flag, we will keep this race until the checkered flag as is, with only a slight extension on the race distance. The checkered flag would be official, and the white flag would signal that the race is 1 lap from its conclusion. If Jordan Kuntz or whoever leads gets that white flag, then this race will stay put. 156 laps, that is the distance, and now it's time to get things rolling all over again. Jordan Kuntz, in the most tense restart of his season so far, will lead the field back to green, and he once again gets the start he needs. Green flag is out with 2 laps to go. And a magnificent start from Jordan Kuntz. That might have just sealed the deal already, but Connor James is coming hot and heavy with 1 lap remaining. White flag will fly this time by. It's going to be Kuntz up ahead, and he'll take the top groove right through 1 and 2. If James has anything, he'll have to send it deep this time by, and as Kuntz comes through 3 and 4, there's no doubt in anyone's mind the 2-time champ has win number 2. Checkered flag flies for Jordan Kuntz, and his second start this season is converted into a second win. Kuntz on top of the board again. Connor James comes home for second, and it's 2 first-time podium sitters in Connor James and Ryan Rose, just ahead of Matthew Weeks and Henry Kaloff, your top 5 in this race. Kuntz will get it done, and his second celebration already this season. He has been no doubt the man to beat. How about Jordan Kuntz getting it done once again? Number 99 pulls through, and with a checkered flag in hand for the second time this season, just when you thought the championship race was out of reach, he pulls it all back together in 1 night's work. Kuntz right now going to be standing right at the start-finish line, taking it in before he burns down the house, if he, of course, chooses to. Some of these drivers might not like burning it down and ruining the tires they have, but here in iRacing, you don't ever reuse a set of rubber. You always get a new set when the next race begins. Kuntz gets it done, and from just beyond the catch fence, we're watching this celebration before it transpires, of course. Shaw Racing brings him back after a championship last season and a victory at Daytona. They've got the 99, and they've got the most successful driver in this league back with their operation. I think that's exactly what they wanted, and looks like Kuntz will stay at the start-finish line as we will read off our results for tonight's event. It's going to be Jordan Kuntz winning from Connor James half a second back, and then Ryan Rose in third, with fourth being Matthew Weeks a second and a half behind. It'll be Henry Kaloff rounding out the top 5 with Chris Tripp in 6th, Marshall Harrison 7th, and Jackson Van Pelt in 8th, with Brayton Laster 9th, and Tyler Seaver rounding out the top 10. Then from there, it'll be James Bowden 11th, Kenneth Gorell in 12th, Mac Grab in 13th, and Vinny Tigner 14th, with James Jungerman 15th, Brendan Carroll 16th, and Alec Daffin 17th. It's Michael Deichsten 18th, Connor Asbell 19th, and Vincent Guecci 20th, with 21st being CJ Allman, 22nd Patrick Gentner, and that rounds out 22 driver field. Kuntz gets it done, burns down the house. Well, he hasn't, but he still has the checkered flag in hand. So how about we get a word from your race-winning driver, Jordan Kuntz, his second win this season already. How about that? And it looks like he's already in the waiting room, hoping to get a comment course, we love to hear from our race winner. Jordan Kuntz, your second win of the season in only your second start. You've converted twice already, and it looks like there's really no stopping you here at this short track. What was it like? Domination here from Thunder Valley.
Well, it's definitely with domination. Setup was definitely hard to drive the first few laps. Knew if I could make it past those laps, I would set sail and make sure that no one could pass me, and try to always stay in the lead so that on the restarts I would always be able to get the jump. And I think I definitely managed my tires extremely well, probably some of the best I've ever done at Bristol tire saving, and definitely have improved over the years at Bristol with tire saving. Definitely wouldn't have been able to do this 1 year ago, but it's although they're not some of the people that I would like in here, like James Thurston, to be battling with, it's still definitely a very competitive field, and with Vinny and Alec having that alternate strategy, and yeah, it was going to be a challenge, but I got lucky. They both got caught up in a wreck, and I was able to pick up the pieces.
And I think I'd have to agree with you when it comes to that strategy. This might be one of your best works in terms of saving those tires or until you really needed them. We saw that longer run where you sort of slowly moved back in terms of position, but you kept yourself on the podium and waited for the trouble. And we saw the leaders getting caught up there. Certainly not what we wanted to see, but either way, it really worked out in your favor, saving your stuff and waiting for that pit stop to get you back on the way.
Yeah, definitely worked out. I found at the end of the run, I was experimenting with the lines a lot in the last run that lasted about 70 laps. And Bristol is such a dynamic track with lines. The top can be fast and the bottom. You just got to know when. And I feel like I was able to really use that to my advantage to not only save tires, but to be able to pass a lot of traffic with ease, not lose time doing so, and make sure my gap to second stayed as big as possible.
And you kept that gap quite large tonight, as low as 4 drivers in the lead lap just before our final caution. But either way, Jordan Kuntz, you hold through for your second win of the season. It's clear already there's title aspirations for this team. And next up, we're going to a track we haven't seen, I don't think, years in terms of this league at the very least. Charlotte Roval. It's a road course, it's an oval, it's everything in between, quite literally, and we've got ourselves a 35-lap feature from Charlotte coming up next on the tour. I've had experience with that combination. It really comes down to tire saving. You think there's a chance you can maybe pull through for a hat trick of starts and wins?
Road courses definitely aren't my specialty with tire saving. I haven't done one of these Xfinity cars at Roval in a league with fixed setups in a long time. I might not have ever done Xfinity at Roval with fixed setups, so it's going to be something different. And hopefully we'll be able to pick up the pieces in qualifying, be able to put those together in the race, and hopefully get another win.
And there we have it. Jordan Kuntz gets it done, pulling home a second victory on the season. Anyone else you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank everybody for watching this race, you for broadcasting, Cameron Perez for giving me the opportunity to return to Shaw in the 99 Ford Mustang, and definitely hoping to go back to back with titles and back to back with Shaw.
And there we have it. Going back at it. It could be a 3-time championship run. Jordan Kuntz lays the foundation and wins for a second time this season. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Kuntz will come through. We have 2 first-time podium sitters. That's an exciting part of it. Dominance to someone we have not talked to yet. First time on the podium in this league, Connor. You pull through. It's a second-place finish, and you kept these leaders honest all night long to run home in second. How do you feel with your first career podium?
Man, I feel pretty good. Like we just tried to save tire most of the night, and then that first one was pretty solid. I think it was a 56 or 65. I can't remember the number. And Jordan, he was a class of field all night. So just tried to keep the tires under us for the most part, and was able to keep the car clean. And I didn't think we had a scratch on it really. And I think we have any incidents with everybody. So it was a pretty solid night overall.
And from the very beginning of this race, this team had speed inside the podium. Another thing we saw is as a few drivers you were battling with, like Henry Kaloff, had some tire trouble, you kept it up there and maintained your position. So what was it like learning as the long run went how to work out the tires and such, especially given the fact we had long green flag runs from beginning to end?
Yeah, I found the lane it obviously started on the bottom and kind of shifted up towards the middle in about 25 laps into a run. And kind of after that, everybody kind of went middle to high. At least I did. It kind of helped me. And, this setup tonight, the car was really easy to unload when he got into the corner, especially into 3. So that's the tighter end of the track, really. And so to kind of keep the car clean, really, and not self-spin and have it unload on you, I found to run like the middle to high after a long run was pretty good. And on the last restart there, I was kind of nervous because I took 2 right, so nobody took 2 tires all night long, so I didn't know how it was going to be. But it fired off pretty good. But Jordan, he was just a class of feet all night, obviously, and he's able to pull it off. So I'm happy for him.
And once again, a fantastic showing here. We've seen this team is building up more and more speed. A podium here. Roval's going to be a much different track. We know that's up next on the schedule, but you think there's a chance to maybe show off a little more of this number 13 team and what they've got in store?
Yeah, I hope so. I like road courses a lot. I don't race them that often, unfortunately, but I like to go over to the Ferrari side of things and whatnot, and the Mazdas and turn some laps there. So it's pretty cool, and run a lot of the NIS races at road courses. Those are kind of my go-to between those short tracks and super speedways, obviously. So, this 13 Diet Coke team, go Chiefs with T Swift and whatnot. We're showing some speed, and hopefully we can do the Roval. We can finish off the Roval pretty good next week.
And hoping to come back to the twists and turns of Charlotte with a potential another podium. It's on for Connor James with a first career podium tonight. Second place on the board. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Just like that, Connor James going to be on the move. One driver to finally mention is Ryan Rose in the number 78, and we'll talk to him right now. Ryan, you round out the podium for tonight's event and come home with your first career podium in this league. How's it feel coming through third place after 150 plus a green-white checkered in terms of laps?
Finally. I think I've deserved one for a little bit, but it's all right. I mean, these guys were really good, so I didn't even plan on running tonight because I was like, I didn't really feel that comfortable. But, yeah.
Either way, seems like it had speed from the very beginning in this car. The 78 teams had speed. We've seen that since Daytona, but the big thing was getting it there to the end, and that's exactly what you did here to pull through for that podium finish. So what was it like just working through the race as it went on and focusing on just, of course, the strategy as everything progressed?
Yeah, I was just trying to make it to the end, really. And, I mean, it was super difficult because Bristol's super compact, and it's like, you can't really pass, so it's hard, but yeah.
It was a challenge to pass all night long, so a big deal, of course, was that track position. So what was it like maintaining that as the race progressed?
Just trying to save as much tire as I could and trying not to get swallowed up by the pack, but yeah.
And all works out well for Ryan Rose and the team here as a 78 pulls through. First career podium here, but we're going to go to a much different track. The Charlotte Roval for 35 laps is what's next on the horizon. I think there's a chance to back that run up.
I think so. I'm pretty decent at road courses in the Cup car anyway, but I'm not sure about the Xfinity car, so we'll see.
Soon we're going to find out how Ryan Rose takes on the, of course, twists and turns in Charlotte, North Carolina. But tonight, it's a first career podium and a third place finish at the last great Coliseum. Anyone else you'd like to add before we leave this off?
Just my mom and my dad for pushing me through. So.
And just like that, Ryan Rose will get it done and pull through for a third place finish. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And with Ryan Rose on the way, that ends our top 3 ceremony for tonight's event. Your podium finishers, Ryan Rose in third, Connor James in second, and Jordan Kuntz with his second win of the season coming home, winning second time. It's this time dominance. Daytona was a very close finish, and it was a very close race, but tonight nobody had it for Jordan Kuntz as he pulls through for his second win of the season. We'll be back live again on FTN in just a few nights' time. Stay tuned as the Saturday Night Thunder Grand National Series continues at the Roval next Saturday. In addition, we'll be back with Grand Prix of Zandvoort earlier in Saturday. That's next Saturday with the VOR IR 18 series. It's going to be a doubleheader on Saturday. That is going to be a fun one. So stay tuned, and we'd love to have you there live again on FTN. I've been David Kreutz, commentating and producing. We hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation. As always, if you did, be sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you all for watching our presentation of the Saturday Night Thunder Grand National Series. This has been the Thunder Valley 150, and we hope you have a fantastic night.